In 1979, the FBI tapped 2 phones and planted hidden microphones, bugs, inside the home of Mario Escandar to learn more about his alleged corruption of Metro-Dade policemen. The FBI wanted to eavesdrop despite the fact that Escandar was already providing some information to FBI agents at the time confidentially. The law requires normal investigative techniques be exhausted before wiretapping is approved. Lawyers for the 9 ex-cops say the electronic surveillance was not needed. Federal Judge William Hoovler, who authorized the wiretaps, testified under subpoena as a defense witness. Hoovler recalled being told that Escandar was an FBI informant when the bugging was approved, but he recalled FBI agents were, quote, not too confident of Escandar as the font of all truth and wisdom. FBI agent Andre Fortier wanted the wiretapping approved, even though Escandar was an informant. Fortier testified he could, quote, not fully be trusted. Judge James Payne ruled at midday that the wiretap evidence can be used against the former detectives. For corroboration, the judge said, at the very least. A lawyer for one defendant voiced disappointment.
You're always disappointed when you lose a motion, but I anticipated that that would probably happen. It's a very major portion of the government's case, and that has to be a consideration in everybody's mind.
To prove its charges, the government must show a conspiracy existed among the 9 officers. So prosecutor Michael Sullivan guided former detective George Pontigo through the history of the policeman's involvement with Mario Escandar. Pontigo, now a government witness like Escandar, testified he and several other officers began visiting Escandar's house as early as 1977. They all snorted cocaine there, and Pontigo said food, liquor, and prostitutes were also available. Escandar, the supposed informant, wined and dined the detectives. The web of entanglement had begun. Back in 1977, George Pontigo testified he saw Mario Escandar use cocaine for the first time. Pontigo said he was shocked, but fellow officer Julio Ojeda told him not to worry. According to Pontigo, Ojeda said, quote, let him snort. He talks more when he's coked up. As the government's chief witness against the policeman, Escandar will soon be here to do a lot of talking. Steve Bosque, Newswatch 10 at Miami Federal Court.
Pontigo told how he and the 8 fellow policemen now on trial were corrupted by con man, dope dealer Mario Escandar. They worked a special homicide squad assigned to solve Cuban bombings and political assassinations. In 1977, they arrested Escandar after he kidnapped a rival dope dealer and held him for ransom. To weasel out of the kidnapping charge, Escandar offered to help them solve murders and bombings, so he was released. Pontigo said he and other homicide detectives would spend hours at Escandar's house across from the Miami Springs golf course debriefing him. Escandar would cook steaks for them, fix drinks. It was against departmental regulations to drink on duty. Then Escandar snorted coke in front of Pontigo and Detective Julio Ojeda. Pontigo said he asked Ojeda what they should do. He testified Ojeda said, it's okay, Escandar talks more when he's snorting coke. Escandar offered his house as a hiding place for witnesses in homicide cases whose lives were in danger. Pontigo said Ojeda began an affair with one of the female witnesses there. Then there were prostitutes at the house, available if you wanted them, and gifts of jewelry, money, eventually cocaine. Pontigo testified about coke dealing and coke snorting by 5 of the 8 defendants and by officers who have not been charged and are still on duty. Pontigo said his first experience with coke was at a small party where his shift commander, Dave Simmons, urged him to try it. Detective Mike McDonald was there snorting coke, Pontigo said, along with Charles Zatrapelic. Zatrapelic, like Pontigo, has made a deal with the government and is expected to testify next week. Pontigo put into the public record for the first time the names of 2 other former homicide detectives, Bill Bellardine and James McHugh. Pontigo said they stole a kilogram of coke they found under
individual members of the department. Our resources were limited. The Organized Crime Bureau had been working the case, and it was in a state of limbo for a while until some new evidence developed. The FBI seemed to be going in a kind of parallel direction in investigation of their own, and we got together and joined forces on this approximately a year ago. And we think that that was the most fruitful approach to it, to get greater resources, more expanded jurisdiction involved. And we have been working very closely on the investigation ever since.
Chief Dempsey says the department will continue to cooperate with the FBI in all aspects of this investigation. I'm Dwight Lauderdale, Newswatch 10 at the Dade Public Safety Department.